NA1SS, this is N2SJ, over.
NA2SJ from NA1SS for scheduled contact.
Hi everyone, I'm Tim Peake and welcome aboard the International Space Station, where we're orbiting Earth 16 times every day. One of the most rewarding activities that some astronauts undertake on orbit is to talk to schools using the space station's ham radio. Now these are events that are planned by AEST, which is a worldwide group of amateur radio volunteers who are dedicated to introducing young people and students to science, technology, engineering and mathematics. Now this is the equipment here in the Columbus laboratory, which consists of a handheld radio, a headset, and we also have a ham video unit. Now as the International Space Station orbits above your location, a radio link is established between the ISS and your school. Now because we're travelling at nearly 18,000 miles per hour, which is an incredible 25 times the speed of sound, we usually get about 9 or 10 minutes of good radio contact before losing the signal. So about 5 minutes before the scheduled start time of the contact, I come into the Columbus laboratory and configure the radio so that I'm on the correct channel. And sometimes I'll set up the ham video too. Just before the predicted time, I'll begin to start calling the school using the standard amateur radio calling techniques. For example, if the call sign of your school was GB4 Fun, I would say Golf Bravo 4, Foxtrot Uniform November. This is Golf Bravo 1 Sierra Sierra, listening and standing by. Now at your school, the radio operator will be listening for my call, but may also transmit and try to call me as well. You'll probably have a much more powerful transmitter on the ground than we have up here on board, so I'm likely to hear you before you hear me. Then, once we can hear each other, then comes the best bit, which is actually talking to the students and answering the questions. Once I've answered all the questions, we use the remaining time to say goodbye to each other and end the connection. I'll then spend a few minutes configuring the radio back into a rebroadcast mode, and then I'll go back to my day job, which is of course doing science on board the International Space Station. AEST is a brilliant opportunity for astronauts to talk to school pupils. It's really rewarding to hear how excited the students are when they're talking to somebody up here in space. And it's a true privilege to be able to inspire our next generation of scientists and engineers through amateur radio.
No. Am I on yet? Am I on yet? Nearly on. Good evening and welcome. I think we've got a few dregs of people outside still. If you want to move forward, please do. If people aren't here, well, tough. They should be. It's an awesome occasion. So if you wish to move forward from the back, please do. But I reckon you've got a good seat anyway in the house today. We seem to be conspicuously absent of some people answering questions. So if you are asking questions, just take a seat so I know who's missing, please. Indigo, good. Mitchell, where's Mitchell gone? So if anybody would like to ask a question in place of Mitchell, that would be that would be really good. It's only live to the whole world, so don't worry. There's no pressure. Second? Yeah, it's all right. I wasn't really worried. It's all right. I know he'll be back. My name is Neil Metcalf. I am one of the physics teachers at the school. If things go horribly wrong today, it's my fault. If things go wonderfully well, it's because I've had a wonderful team around me helping. You will see people wandering around. Jack up the back. We've got people recording. We are recording live. We are going live to the internet. We will be going live around the world via our radio link tonight. Gulp. Yes, lots can go wrong. Nothing will, because the people we've got here have been an absolute pleasure. They've been here since 10 o'clock this morning, setting up, but they have not stopped. Testing things, setting things up, bringing new bits of kit that I have no idea what it is, even as a physics teacher. It has been absolutely awesome to witness. Can I start, please? I've welcomed you. Am I hearing something buzzing in my ear? Is there something on? If you have something that's playing, could you turn it off, please? Sound is really critical on this. Yes, you are. I'm very happy for you to record things, but please turn your phones off. We don't want Auntie Mary ringing up halfway through asking what's for tea tonight. So if we can keep all the radio communication silent, that would be really good. Can we start off, please? We have the Mayor of Manningham, Miss Paula. Now, I took advice from this from an Italian, because it sounds an Italian name. Piccinini. Perfect. Thank you, Matt. Could you give us an opening thing? Oh, no. Yes, opening thing. And then we'll go to Welcome to Country afterwards. Okay. My first mistake, I told you it was my fault. Please go on.
Thanks, Neil. Is this working?
It is.
Yep, great, terrific. So we're going to do a welcome to country, an acknowledgement to country.
In a second, yes.
Okay, which I'll just echo your acknowledgement to country. That's fantastic. So yes, my name's Paula Piccinini and I'm the Mayor of Manningham, which is it's made up of 10 suburbs from Bulleen all the way to Warrandyte. And this is my first time here as the Mayor, and I'm delighted to be here. I'm hanging on. Keep going? Okay.
Keep going, yeah,
okay.
keep going.
All right. So, so I'm an elected representative on the local council. And usually when I walk into a school like this, I see like 10 or 20 faces I recognise because I've lived here a long time and I've got 3 kids in the area. But it's just a sign of how Templestowe College has gone absolutely gangbusters that there's so many new faces, which is quite amazing. And this is one of the fastest growing schools in Melbourne, and you're all coming from far and wide. So in relation to the council, we as a local council, we collect rubbish, as you know, we fix the local roads, we fix the drains, and we provide over 100 services in Manningham, from maternal health care to the library to aged home care. And also youth services. We've got a youth services team, which I understand that has been working with your social workers to identify gaps in youth services in this area. Because one of our missions and visions at Manningham Council is that every child, every youth who comes here, lives here or goes to school here feels connected and feels a sense of belonging. And that's certainly what Templestowe College does, because Templestowe College is a school of a point of difference. We know that it's a school that helps children pursue their passion in learning, and to show initiative. And that's what today is about, because Neil, together with his students, have shown initiative to contact the International Space Station, and to make contact with them today. So let's put our hands together for a big thank you to Neil and his students. And also, also amateur radio, yes, who've done a brilliant job setting this up today. So let's thank them as well. Yes, so, okay, now, I mean, this is what dreams are made of. There'll be kids here tonight that'll be listening to the questions, listening to the answers and thinking, well, wouldn't it be cool if one day my experiment is conducted in space, you know, for the betterment of society? Wouldn't that be absolutely cool? And it's events like this that make dreams seem possible to our students, our girls and our boys. And I note, Neil, that it's a wonderful collection of girls and boys both studying science here at Templestowe College, which is just fantastic. So yeah, today is, you know, it's the start of dreams for our kids, and that's what we want. We want them to dream, we want them to have ambition and to pursue those passions. So I'm really looking forward to the questions and the answers, and later on handing out certificates, because Neil did ask me to wear my bling today. Because it's good for the photos. So I'm wearing the mayoral chains, which are actually gold-plated and insured for $35,000 and kept in a safe. And they're 52 years old. They were made in the year of my birth, and they've been worn by every mayor of Manningham for the last 52 years. So it's an honour to wear them, and it's great for photos. So I'll be looking forward to coming back and doing that, my bit there too. So thank you. Thanks very much. Thanks, Neil.
It was nice to be credited for setting this up. However, I didn't. The lady behind you set it up. Frances, used to be Frances Barber, Frances Broomhead now, who is the daughter-in-law of Robert, who's doing all the video. He often sits here. That's how we got the contact, because Francis used to work here. So thank you, Francis, for prompting us, just saying, yeah. We're definitely doing Welcome to Country now.
Thank you, Neil. Before we start again, we'd like to do a Welcome to Country and acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, on this land that we live and learn upon. And we'd like to pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Thank you.
Okay, so the space station is currently over the Atlantic Ocean. We've had this on for the last 3 hours, and it's passed overhead 3 times. About an hour and a half ago, it actually passed right over the top of Melbourne. This time it will be going, I think, slightly north, because the tracking station we're using is actually in Perth. It's actually about 5 km away from where I used to live in Perth until a few years ago. So that's really quite exciting. I know where it's going to be tracking from. So that is a live feed. You will see it moving across. We'll see it moving across Africa, down through the Indian Ocean, and coming across Australia. The guys are just talking to that base station now, setting up all the links. The circle round it is the radio connection. So we should see when the yellow circle breaks the line where it says VK, I should have done the eye test, where that dot is, that's when we start getting radio contact, and we will get a command saying, go with your questions. We'll hear all that as it happens. Can you put the screen up, please, Robert? We're there in a second. Full screen. Wonderful. Sorry, the teacher in me says we should know something about what we're doing and who we're doing it with. Next one, please. Oh, message from, we went, no, I was going to say above you. No, that's not true. We are different spheres. We went parallel and went to the MP, Kevin Andrews, who unfortunately can't be here today because he's off running the country or things like that. He did, however, send us a message. I won't read it. You can read it yourself. He says, congratulations. Oh, it's MP stuff. But it's really important that he has acknowledged what we're doing, would like to be here, but busy running the country. I know the problem. Next one, please. Okay, amateur radio. These guys at the front and at the back are the amateur radio on the ISS. It is a amateur organisation in as much they don't get paid. Everybody here today, and there are 4 people here today, are here free of charge in their own time. They run their own companies. They suspend their company work for the day to come and help us. Hence, there is a box outside. I would really love you, please, to donate into that. That will go direct to that organisation. In fact, Rachel's just going out to bring the box in so you can see it if you can do it on the way out, that would be absolutely wonderful, please. They are wonderful people. They say they're amateurs. They are the consummate professionals when they are setting things up. Absolutely brilliant to watch. And as we're seeing now, just quietly getting on with things in the background. They do this for pure enjoyment, not for anything else. They are here to see your faces, your excitement at what they are doing. Because this is no mean feat, what we are trying to achieve today. They promote science, technology, engineering, maths in schools, in society, because they realise how important it is. And we thank them for that. Next one, please. As part of that, they have a mission statement on behind us. The secondary part of that is that the link we make, this amateur radio link we make, often gives the astronauts an additional way of communicating with home. So instead of doing it through NASA and everything else, they have an opportunity to do it another way. Jack, are you online? Very shortly, you will be there. Because the question is, can you explain in non-technical terms how this is going to work tonight?
Hello? Yeah, that better? That's it. I'm in. Okay, welcome everyone here tonight. My name's Jack Bramham and my radio call sign's VK3WWW. We've got 4 amateurs here tonight that are helping out with this contact with the International Space Station for you guys. We're all, well, except I don't think Alan's licensed, are you, Alan? Okay, we're most of us are licensed radio hams. I don't think many of you probably know what a radio amateur is, but the group that we belong to has been going for over 100 years. It's been described as the oldest social networking group in the world. It's been going for well over 100 years, this social networking. So social networking is not new, for those of you who are thinking it's all the new thing, this internet and all that sort of stuff. What we're doing tonight is partly amateur radio and partly using modern technology. In the past, we used to set up a fixed radio station just outside somewhere with tracking antennas, and you would have seen them over here on the two side screens here. They're actually being projected from Western Australia in Perth. And this is Martin, VK5TMV. He's doing our link tonight. And his antennas, as soon as the space station comes over the horizon, they'll lock on and they'll track it across the sky until it gets to the other horizon and disappears. So if you do look at those on the side, you'll see them. They won't move quick. They'll just be going every couple of seconds. They'll go a degree or two as it's going around. And but we used to set up a system outside, and we've got enough technology here now to not have to worry about doing stuff outside as well with all this videoing. We're live streaming to Facebook and to YouTube. The YouTube live stream, probably the easiest way to find it would be to look at our society website, which is www.wia.org.au, Wireless Institute of Australia, who is our governing body or our amateur body in Australia. And then there'll be a link to the YouTube link tonight. And also on Facebook Live, we're streaming on that one. I'm not really sure about how to find that link.
Yeah, that's also on the school Facebook as well.
Oh, it's on the Facebook page, okay. Live to the school Facebook page. If you do watch that, if you do plug that in and watch it live now, it'll be about a 30-second delay, so be aware of that.
Watch it live, you're here.
Yeah, here's much better. Behind me, just I'll get this out of the way before we talk about radio in general. Behind me, you're probably, oh, where's it gone? Behind me there was a map of the, here we go, it's coming, no, put up the map of the world, Robert. And I'll just explain that because I'll forget. And I've got to be back on here at 5 to 6, so someone better remind me if I forget. What's happening up the back there, Robert? Bring up the tracking software. Oh, here we go, okay. Quickly I'll explain this. This is this yellow circle here. In the middle of that yellow circle is the International Space Station at the moment, right now. On Australia, on the far left corner of Australia is a little bluey greeny sort of icon there. That says VK5TMV. That's where the link will be coming from, from Western Australia, that way. And when that yellow circle around the space station, that's the footprint of the radio signal. That's how far the radio signal can project on Earth. As soon as that yellow circle passes over VK5TMV's link on us or pin on Australia, it'll start, and it's pretty accurate. You'll see that pass over there. Martin will call the space station, and they might come back. He's running a lot of power. He's running a few hundred watts. The space station's got about 20 watts of power, not very much. So they'll hear him before he can hear them. But when the space station comes back, they usually get it timed pretty well, and it'll be very noisy. It'll be a lot of white noise, we call it. But the next time the space station comes back, it should be clear as a bell. And it should be clear. It might have the occasional little chippy-chop drop out, but it should be clear as a bell for the whole contact. Okay, so that part out of the way. We can move on and talk a bit more about...
Question.
Yeah.
How many contacts have you done this year?
Personally, between the group of us and the group of us, we've done, this is our third contact this year, but as with AEST, Amateur Radio on International Space Station, I'm not sure, they do about 1, maybe 2 a week. It's a very popular program, it's worldwide. For a school to apply, I'm not sure when your application went in, but usually it's about 12 months waiting list. It's not like you can just put your name down. Usually most schools that apply, pretty much all schools that apply do get a contact, but it's just a matter of waiting. And it's a little bit frustrating when it gets close to the time because the school wants to know, what day is it going to be? When's it going to be? I've got to tell everyone. And they don't know. You didn't know till like a week and a half ago.
Yeah, a week ago.
And then even then it was that week. And then the week after that, it was that day. So yeah.
That started off about 10 weeks ago. Funny enough, I was in Beechworth on holiday because it was during the school holidays in the bakery there. Excellent bakery. I was halfway through a cream donut, as these things happen, and the phone rang, and it was Tony in South Australia saying, we've got a chance of an International Space Station contact. Are you happy to do it? So, wiped away the cream, walked outside because it was busy inside, into the street and thought, it would be easy to say no. Yeah. Yes, of course we'll do it. Love to. And that's where it started. A 10-week build-up, and said, but we only actually found out date and time a week ago.
That's good. And yeah, a little bit more about what's happening tonight. This signal, I mentioned more about using modern technology. As I say, we set stuff up outside. Well, what's happening is the station in Western Australia is taking the signal up and down. The students here will talk into this box, which is connected to what's called a tele-bridge network. It's basically a conferencing network. There's actually 3 people on there at the moment chatting amongst themselves on this conferencing. They'll all go quiet, and all we will hear is the radio operator in Perth, and then followed by the astronaut. And that's all that will come on that channel once the contact starts. There should be nothing else to interfere with our contact on that channel. So that's going via this network, and it's being also broadcast, as I mentioned, live. It's also going on ham radio internationally on all these, well, I suppose you could call them chat channels, but they're broadcast into the radio receivers, so they can tune into a local repeater and then bring up that network, and they can listen to it, just the audio, listening to it coming down. Yeah, you another question?
No, the only other question really was, which I think you've answered, but how many have happened in total, do you know?
Altogether?
Altogether?
Oh, goodness me, I think there's I think they just celebrated their 1,000th. And
you're actually behind. I knew the answers. It was a rhetorical question. You're up around about 1,250.
1,250, 1,250.
In the 10 years.
Yeah, it's quite a lot. And NASA are really, really interested in promoting science, engineering, technology to younger children. That's why the schools are chosen. You won't get one of these contacts if you're a Lions Club or something like that, unless you're doing something with children. Yeah.
Okay, all good.
All good? Okay.
Robert, can we have the thing back on, please?
And the other, I'll talk to you a little bit more about amateur radio. As I suppose, this is not what we normally would do in ham radio. We're the guys with the big towers with the big antennas in the backyard. And not all of us have big towers and big antennas, but we do get blamed for lots of interference on televisions and whatever. Most of the time it's not us. It's just that we've got a big tower in the backyard and people all blame us for any interference or health problems that they might have in their house, even though we're not even transmitting. My passion in amateur radio is what's called radio direction finding. Amateur radio direction finding is a bit like orienteering. If any of you have been orienteering, it's sort of like orienteering with hide and seek. Orienteering, they know where the controls are. They've got a map and a compass, and they can navigate via the compass to where the control is. With my version of orienteering, we did a radio receiver, and the signal comes up, and we point the antenna towards it, get a bearing on it, draw it across the map, then we've got to find it, and it's a race. It's a race in the forest to find as many transmitters and get back as quick as possible. That's my passion in amateur radio.
And hang tight for that one next year. That will happen here.
No, we won't do that here. Oh, well, it might happen here, yeah. It might be happening
within the
here,
school.
yes. So, yeah, in the future. You know, amateurs, we don't normally get on the radio and chat all the time. Some guys do. They get on the shortwave bands, but a lot of them, they just are licensed amateurs, and they like to be a member of that community. And that community can be coding, computer coding. It can be Raspberry Pis, working with them, Arduinos, technology, any sort of technology. Just the other day, I was putting together 2 hands-free kits. I know you all drive cars, most of you, not the kids, but you can't use your mobile phone whilst driving. It's still legal to use a hand microphone. You can use a CB radio or something in the car, but I'd be very careful doing it next to a police car if they're next to you, because they'll probably book you for dangerous driving or something like that. They won't book you for holding on the microphone, but they'll think you weren't concentrating enough and they'll book you for something else. But yeah, so we've, one of the guys here and one other fellow have designed a hands-free kit for ham radio. And the difference between a hands-free kit and a car phone or in a mobile phone is it has to have a press-to-talk button. You need to push the button to talk and then let it go to receive. And that's what you'll see the kids do tonight. You'll see there's a microphone here. And when they're answering their question, the button will be depressed. And when they're listening to the answer, the button will be released. So that's just to simulate the microphone. And they need to say the word over at the end so that in Western Australia, the guy can flick from transmit to receive, so that all happens there. Yeah, so ham radio can be anything. It's and one of the best parts about it is if you're struggling with something, you can come up on the radio and say, look, I'm having trouble with Windows or Linux or something like that. Oh, mate, I'll tell you how to fix that. I'll be around tonight and have a look at it for you. It's that sort of network. It's great. And in my passion going overseas to do this radio direction finding, I've met people from all walks of life and from lots of different countries, even countries like I've been to Kazakhstan, Mongolia, these way out places to compete, and it's really, really good. Everyone's friendly, and yeah, we all get on really well. I'm sure you've got some more questions over there.
Sit down.
Sit down, okay, you go for it.
No, I didn't mean that way.
Down.
Sit down and shut up. No. Thank you, Jack, that's wonderful, a good thing. Can we put the thing back on?
This is N2SJ, over.
NA2SJ from NA1SF for scheduled contact.
Hi everyone, I'm Tim Peake and welcome aboard the International Space Station, where we're orbiting Earth 16 times every day. One of the most rewarding activities that some astronauts undertake on orbit is to talk to schools using the space station's ham radio. Now these are events that are planned by AEST, which is a worldwide group of amateur radio volunteers who are dedicated to introducing young people and students to science, technology, engineering and mathematics. Now this is the equipment here in the Columbus laboratory, which consists of a handheld radio, a headset, and we also have a ham video unit. Now as the International Space Station orbits above your location, a radio link is established between the ISS and your school. Now because we're travelling at nearly 18,000 miles per hour, which is an incredible 25 times the speed of sound, we usually get about 9 or 10 minutes of good radio contact before losing the signal. So about 5 minutes before the scheduled start time of the contact, I come into the Columbus laboratory and configure the radio so that I'm on the correct channel. And sometimes I'll set up the ham video too. Just before the predicted time, I'll begin to start calling the school using the standard amateur radio calling techniques. For example, if the call sign of your school was GB4 Fun, I would say Golf Bravo 4, Foxtrot Uniform November. This is Golf Bravo 1 Sierra Sierra, listening and standing by. Now at your school, the radio operator will be listening for my call, but may also transmit and try to call me as well. You'll probably have a much more powerful transmitter on the ground than we have up here on board, so I'm likely to hear you before you hear me. Then, once we can hear each other, then comes the best bit, which is actually talking to the students and answering the questions. Once I've answered all the questions, we use the remaining time to say goodbye to each other and end the connection. I'll then spend a few minutes configuring the radio back into a rebroadcast mode, and then I'll go back to my day job, which is of course doing science on board the International Space Station. AEST is a brilliant opportunity for astronauts to talk to school pupils. It's really rewarding to hear how excited the students are when they're talking to somebody up here in space. And it's a true privilege to be able to inspire our next generation of scientists and engineers through amateur radio.
Have you all said wow yet? Good. So did I. International Space Station was the first parts of it, it's still being built. The first parts of it went up 1998. Around about 10 years old. Here, next one, please. Oh, those are all the contacts we've done. One down again, please. We kind of talked about that. Okay, we're top of the list there. Other places that are going to be contacting Fort Meade in the US, Bulgaria, United Emirates. Only once in a week or so. We're in a privileged position. Please don't forget that. We're in a privileged position. Next, please. Yeah, so first one up there, 1998. Operates on Greenwich Mean Time, operates on universal time. which is the same as Greenwich Mean Time, which means the astronauts have just got up. They're just having breakfast. They're about to start work, and they kind of have a bit of free time before they start work where they do radio connections. Amongst other things, they might be exercising, but that is the time to do it, which is why we're at 6 o'clock in the evening. The space station actually went across us an hour and a half ago, was directly overhead Melbourne. They were still sleeping. It would have been rude to wake them up. So we're doing it now instead. It costs an enormous amount, 60 billion, because each thing has to be taken up one module at a time. I think, what did it say? 350 tons of stuff up there, taking up one bit of time. It also mentioned how quickly it was going. In context, a rifle bullet, 6,000 kilometers an hour. Space station, 28,000 kilometers an hour. What's that? My maths is not that good. Nearly 5 times the speed of a bullet from a rifle, and we are tracking it going across. That's pretty good technology. Been lots of people up there. If you've got a phone, please turn it off. Thank you. Mainly American. I like that music, but not now, please. Meg, that wasn't you, was it? That is the second time you've done that lately. I can't believe you've done it again. Mainly American. Russia are big into it. Japan, Canada, Europe, all send people up there. Australia, you'll see, it's not there. Maybe the first one is here. That's what my dream would be. If somebody was inspired enough to think, no, I'm going to be the first name on there, that would be great. 3 minutes. I've done. Can we just flick over to, that's the current crew. The commander, my Russian's not good. We're talking to the fellow next to him. I can say his name's Nick Hague. There he is, handsome-looking fellow from Kansas. He's been up there since March. He's due to come back to Earth in November. He's second in command of the space station. We should be able to understand him. He nearly talks the same language as us. He's American, so we should be good. 3 minutes. Are you getting anything there, Jack? Do I need to? Yep, fine. So am I. Sophia, if you're ready, can you come down? Because the first thing we do is you're there. Is a school profile. We are broadcasting to the world here, so they want to know who we are and what we are. So we've prepared a brief school profile. I might just say at the end of this connection, we will be given a 1-minute warning. At this point, anybody asking questions here will be crowding around the back, and we're all going to shout out, "Thank you." We're going to shout out something slightly different than that, because it is Nick Hague's birthday next week. He has a wife and 2 kids on Earth. He's having his birthday 400 k's above Earth. So I think it would be appropriate to say thank you and happy birthday. Yeah, and that wasn't the Perth I know. Every time I lived in Perth, it was a really sunny day with blue sky. It appears that we've got a semi-hurricane going through there at the moment, and the things are rattling around. Hopefully that won't interrupt us at all. A bit of Fremantle doctor coming in. The video we've seen before, that is Perth. He's sending a live feed through onto the internet. We're picking it up and displaying it here. There's about a 20-second delay on things, so he waves, then he waved 20 seconds ago. But that's a pretty good rig he's got. I like all those screens. It looks very impressive, and I'm sure all the tracking over there will be good as well. That's where Nick Hague, the American, actually flew on a Soyuz rocket from Kazakhstan, run by the Russian agency. So that's how international these things are now. There was 20 years ago when I was not 20 years ago, a long time ago when I was growing up, Russia and America would not talk to each other, and certainly during the Apollo era, they were fighting each other to try and get into space first. We now share resources, lots of the, because since the space shuttle stopped operating from America, most of the supplies go via the Ariane rockets from France or from Russia. So if we are talking international community here, space is showing the way. How are we going, Jack? We good? Okay, I'm going to shut up now.
Part of today's call is being recorded. If you have any objections, you may disconnect at this time. You may begin at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we shall start the official one there, Jack. That's okay.
Yes, we're all ready to go there. Tony, go ahead.
Okay. Hello, everyone. This is Tony Hutchison, VK5ZAI, your moderator for today. Through the help of amateur radio volunteers and the crew on the ISS, we soon hope to establish contact with the International Space Station as it flies more than 410 kilometres above the Earth over the Indian Ocean. This is all accomplished with AEST, amateur radio on the International Space Station. The ISS is currently approaching our AEST ground station in Meadow Springs, Western Australia, whizzing along at nearly 28,000 kilometres per hour. The contact today will be formed using our tele-bridge network, a worldwide network of amateur radio ground stations that enables students to speak with the ISS. The audio for today's contact will also be available live around the world via the amateur radio Echolink and IRLP networks handled by Bob, VK4DA in Queensland, Australia. AEST is a consortium of volunteers of 9 nations that develop and operate the amateur radio equipment on board the International Space Station. Those that support AEST are the American Radio Relay League, the American AMSAT Amateur Radio Satellite Corporations, Canadian Space Agency, European Space Agency, the Japanese Space Agency, and Roscosmos, the Russian Space Agency, and NASA. Amateur Radio Ground Station that will establish contact with the ISS today is a VK6MJ located in Meadow Spring, Western Australia, and operated by Martin Diggins. We have around 5 minutes until contact time. Our link up today will be with the students attending the Templestowe College in Templestowe, Victoria. We've asked Year 11 student, Sophia, to please tell us a little about your school and the students taking part today. Thanks, Sophia.
Just talk straight away.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Sophia and I'm a student here at Templestowe College, or TC as we call it. We are a state school in the southeast corner of Australia in the state of Victoria. The school is in the suburb of Templestowe, about 20 kilometres east of Melbourne. Melbourne has a population of about 4 million people. This year it was rated the second most livable city in the world for the second year running. Melbourne has a lot of history, tourist attractions, cafes and gardens, as well as being the sporting capital of Australia. Spring has just started here, so the rain and the cold of winter is being replaced by hotter, drier weather. It is currently sunny and about 16 degrees centigrade, but the sun is due to set shortly, which will see the temperatures drop to about 5 degrees centigrade. Melbourne is notorious for having varied weather and can have weather from all 4 seasons in one day. TC is a school of about 1,100 students and is breaking new ground in education, with the number of the students and activities available being student-led. Students do not wear uniforms and call their teachers by their first name, which is very unusual in Australia. We have a one-person policy whereby teachers and students have an equal voice in how the school is run and operated. Everybody is treated the same. Yes is our default answer, meaning that if we want to do, make, or learn something, the answer has to be yes unless it takes too much time, too much money, or negatively impacts on the community. Each student has an individual learning plan, and they are able to choose from a large number of elective subjects at the year level that suits them. We have a school farm on a suburban site and do all our own animal husbandry, with students taking the leading role with teacher supervision. TC was nominated and shortlisted for Australian Government School of the Year in 2019. Over.
Thanks, David. Now to Martin, VK6MJ. Before the contact begins, please tell us a little about your station, where you are, and how you'll handle the conversation today.
Hello, everybody. My name's Martin, and I'm at a spring, Western Australia. I've been a radio operator for over 30 years. My other great interest has always been space and satellites, having grown up watching the Apollo missions. My antenna is computer-controlled. I'll be switching to that on video from time to time, which follows the ISS as it moves across the sky. That's here in WA. The received signal is sent from my radio to a phone patch unit and sends the voice of the astronaut to you. The astronaut will also be able to hear you when you talk back. Just before I transmit, I will open the squelch, so listen to this. And then I will call the astronaut. I will continue to call and listen until we hear the astronaut calling us back. At first, the audio may be a little scratchy and noisy, but it will soon become clear as the ISS gets over a little higher in the sky. And very important, do not forget to say the word over at the end of each question. When you hear the astronaut say over, then it's time for the next question. So just go straight on to it. Back to you, Tony.
Thanks, Martin. In a short time, the space station will be coming over the horizon and within radio range. Remember, what we're doing on the ISS is an experiment, so we can never tell the results, positive or negative, until the experiment is over. And students, don't forget to say over at the end of your question. In around about half a minute, the station should be coming over Meadow Springs. It's all yours, Martin, and good luck.
Thank you, Tony. Okay, it's just about here. Just a few more seconds to go, and then I will call the astronaut, Nick Hague, on the ISS. Here we go. Stand by. NA1SS, NA1SS, NA1SS. This is Victor Kilo 6 Mike Juliet in Perth, calling for a scheduled ARIS contact. Do you copy? Over. NA1SS, Victor Kilo 6 Mike Juliet. A little scratchy. How's my copy? Back to you. Rightio, it's still a little scratchy, but it's getting stronger and stronger. Back to you one more time. Over to you, Nick. NA1SS, NA1SS, Victor Kilo 6 Mike Juliet. How copy?
Victor Kilo Mike Juliet, I've got you loud and clear. This is NA1SS.
Excellent copy, 5 by 9. Okay, over to the school for the first question, please. Go ahead.
What is the most interesting thing you've seen in space or from the International Space Station? My name is Dylan. Over.
Yes, Dylan, obviously it is a wonderful sight to be able to look out the window and see the Earth glide below us. Right now I'm floating over a window in the Russian module, and we are just passing over the west coast of Australia.
Can you lift again a bit?
The Earth is a beautiful, very vibrant, and you can definitely tell that it's alive down there and dynamic. Over.
Hi, I'm Aiden. How do you stay healthy, and what happens if you are sick? Over.
Yes, Aiden, staying healthy is super challenging up here because the effect of not having gravity work against our body causes all kinds of changes that we have to adapt to. So in order to stay healthy, we have to exercise every day, just like you have to exercise every day to stay healthy on the ground, although we do a bit more of it up here. So 45 minutes a day, I exercise on a treadmill or a stationary cycle, and for an hour and a half, I lift weights so that my muscles and bones stay strong, and I'll be able to walk when I get back on Earth. Over.
Hi, I'm Shia. Do you have free time, and if so, what do you do with it? Over.
Well, we're up here to work in their long work days, 12 hours. We start work at 7:30 a.m. and finish work at 7:30 p.m. But we do find free time, and so I've got a few things that I enjoy doing. Looking out the window, I mentioned that one already, watching the Earth go below. The playing with things that float in microgravity, playing with water, sitting around the table and eating with crew and playing with our food a little bit, and then obviously staying in contact with my family and loved ones.
Hi, my name's Indigo. Are there any permanent effects of being in space for a long time? Over.
So being in the effect of microgravity in the environment that we are in space with the additional radiation accelerates the aging process. And so some of those will correct themselves when we get back down on Earth. Some of those won't correct themselves. So there have been changes and permanent changes in vision. There's been permanent changes in the way your bones, the structure of your bones reconstitute themselves. So some of the changes are permanent. Some of them are, very transitory and will go away within a month or so after being down on the ground. Over.
Hi, I'm Kira. If a family or personal emergency occurs, are you allowed to go home? Over.
That's a great question. Obviously, there are sacrifices that are made by signing up for a mission like this, and some of those sacrifices aren't by the things that the crew give up, but it's the things that the family gives up as well. And so just like being, I'm active duty military, but just like being deployed, if something happens, there may not be the opportunity to come back. And so your family gives up the opportunity to have you there when they need you most, and to give up the opportunity to be there for them when you need them the most. And there have been examples of that happen over the course of the spaceflight program. Over.
Hi, I'm Maya asking for Callum. What interesting experiments do you perform on the ISS? Over.
There are so many that we perform up here. In the course of my 200 days on orbit, we'll do about 350 different experiments. And they span this entire spectrum from figuring out new materials, like new rubbers that we could use in tires to make cars more fuel efficient, or new ways to produce fiber optics so that we can reduce the cost of telecommunications and improve the quality of it. New materials like that, all the way to the other end of the spectrum where we're working with biology and we're trying to figure out mechanisms within the human body to help find cures for Alzheimer's or cancer. But probably the most interesting, cutting-edge one that I've seen so far is we were trying to 3D print human organs. Over.
Hi, I'm Georgia. What does it feel like being back on Earth after a long time in space? Over.
After being in space a long time, it's going to take time to just get used to walking again. Up here, because there's no upside down or right side up, because gravity isn't pulling me against something, my inner ear doesn't really know which way to orient itself. So my mind, for a while now, has stopped listening to my inner ear. I don't get dizzy. As soon as I get back down on the ground, my brain is going to have to figure out how to process that additional information. And it's going to take a while before I can walk steadily. And it's also going to take a little bit of time before I can be fully aware. For instance, when I get back down on the ground, I won't be able to drive a vehicle for several weeks until the medical professionals clear me to do so because of that instability in my inner ear. And that's just one of the many effects that have to readapt on the ground.
Hi, I'm Joshua. Are there any international space laws and censorship laws that govern people on the International Space Station? Over.
NA1SS, NA1SS, Victor Kilo 6 Mike Juliet. How copy?
In terms of the international space laws and censorship laws that govern people on the ISS, obviously we are responsible for living up to the laws of the countries we come from, but I think that our crew atmosphere up here transcends that. And the crew look at each other as though we're brothers and sisters and crewmates whose lives depend on each other, and that's a bar far higher than the laws of each individual country. That is something that unites us in a closer bond. Over.
Hi, I'm Mitchell. How much fuel do you use maneuvering the ISS around space debris? Over.
Yeah, Mitchell, we try to use as little as we can. So there is a constant observation, looking for all the pieces of trash and space debris that are flying around the sky, and there's a massive team on the ground that keeps us clear of that. But if we need to move,
Next question, go ahead, please.
Hi, I'm Ewan. Do astronauts ever feel isolated, and if so, how do they cope? Over.
Yeah, surprisingly, we don't feel. I haven't felt isolated up here. The space station is rather large, and a crew of 6. There's a lot going on, and we also have the ability to make phone calls and video conferences with people on the ground, and we're constantly talking with mission control through our daily work. So the idea of feeling claustrophobic and isolated has never really been a problem for me. Over.
We
Hi,
have
it's Dylan.
less than 1 minute, so let's make our farewell to Nick on the astronaut. Tony, can you take control of that, please? Go ahead.
Thanks, Martin. Students at Templestowe, if you could do just a big thank you after 1, 2, 3.
Thank you. Happy birthday!
Back to you, Nick, if you can still copy, and thank you.
Have given up a lot.
NA1SS, this is VK6 Mike Juliet. I believe we've lost you. Thank you once again. Back to the school. Well done, everybody.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have just heard a moment in history. Amateur radio station, VK6MJ, operated by Martin Diggins, contacted astronaut Nick Hague KG5TMV aboard the International Space Station, who spoke with students at the Templestowe College in Templestowe, Victoria. Now from the international team of AEST, including amateur radio satellite corporations around the world, American Radio Relay League, Canadian Space Agency, European Space Agency, Japanese Space Agency, and NASA. This is Tony Hutchison, amateur radio operator VK5ZAI in Kingston, South Australia. Sending you my greetings to all of you in amateur radio terms, 7 3s, which means best wishes. Well, thanks everyone. Thanks to all the students at Templestowe College, Jack and Neil, who prepared the students. You did an excellent job, and thanks very much, Martin, for your help today. We did appear to have a couple of small fade-outs, which I'm not quite sure why, but we'll try and analyse that later. It could be conditions. It could be the attitude at which the station is flying that made the copy a little difficult at times. But thanks very much. And Jack, is there anyone at the school that would like to say anything before we close?
I think I could say on behalf of the school, thank you very much to the AEST team and yourself and Martin for doing the downlink. Yes, we did have a couple of fade outs, but at least we got quite a few questions through. But I would like everyone in the room here to put their hands together for the team. Yeah, thanks again for all the...
Jack. I will endeavour to get a recording from the operator in the next few days, and I'll forward it on to Neil at Templestowe there, and he might like to run a copy off for the students that were involved. Thanks very much, Martin. Have you anything to say before we stop the recording?
There we go. Thank you, everybody. That was great. And, yeah, not sure why we had the fade out there, but I was able to pull him back. So quite pleased to be able to do that. So wish you all 7-3 and all the very, very best. Thank you, Tony.
Thanks, Martin. Operator, conference coordinator, could you stop the recording now, please?
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, well, that is it. And thanks once again to everyone that took part. Also to Bob for relaying it on Echolink and IRLP. It's another successful contact that we have had. Thanks once again, and if there's nothing further, I'll just put it around to you, Jack. If there's nothing further from anyone, I'll close the conference off.
No, I'd just like to say thanks again to guys, and we've got a few things to do down here, so we'll leave you with it, and we'll sign out of the net. This is your VK3WW from the Templestowe College in Victoria, now signing out.
7-3 all.
Thanks, Jack.
Cheers all, VK48.
Thanks, Bob. You're right, Martin.
I'm not sure about towards the end there, but I want to back the elevation up. Getting so anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah, awesome, thank you. If you can sit down again, please. We have a little memento for you.
We'll check on it anyway, and we might have a...
Absolutely brilliant, thank you. What I didn't mention earlier is that we were also interviewed on the ABC Radio this afternoon. So congratulations to Dylan and Kira for doing that. They were really good, some really good answers to the questions on the Raf Epstein show. I believe that is available on podcast as well, so if you want to download that, we'll be doing that as a school and trying to make up a package of work just to hand out to everybody. Paula, can we ask you back, please? We have a certificate that Aris kindly let us use. So it says certify, insert name here. Has been awarded a pair of glasses. Has been awarded this certificate in recognition of having successfully completed a two-way radio contact with the crew of the International Space Station from the grounds of Templestowe College on this 18th day of September 2019. And it's signed by the President and the President of the Wireless Institute of Australia. I think if I've got this correct, we should be all in the correct order.
Okay.
Come and hand another good photo opportunity, people. Ewan.
So, Ewan. Yes? Oh, fantastic. There you go, Ewan.
Okay, I didn't get them in the right order. Oh, no, I did.
Joshua?
Yep.
Yep. Now, Joshua, I'm a lawyer by trade, so I loved your question. Yeah. And I love the answer. Like, they operate at a higher level, above the law. I just love that. Yes, Mayor. Okay, congratulations.
Yeah, they're not easy to read, are they?
Off you go. Yes. No worries. Congratulations.
thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. It's been a great atmosphere. That's what I wanted for these kids, young adults down here, is the atmosphere. Thank you for providing that. It's been excellent. 4 of you here tonight. Thank you to the ARIS people for everything they have done today. They have worked like slaves, setting everything up, testing everything, making sure it's all good. Videoing it. Yes, everything we ever asked for, they just said, oh yeah, of course we do that. I could not fault you in any way, so thank you. As part of that, being TC, we have our own, what is it, not recycled paper, it is, what do we call it? Sally, what do we call it? The paper that we did the Christmas cards on. Yeah, okay, so it's paper made in school from recycled paper, because that's what we're into. All designed by the kids. As a thank you, I will, Jack, I can see the rest, you're up at the back somewhere. I will find you and I will hunt you down and give you a card as well. Thank you so much. But on behalf of you all, here's one to Jack. Sorry, I'm just checking that I've thanked everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you for them. Thank you for the students. Thank you for coming. We had over 60 questions in the first place, which were voted for in school. The best ones, the best of the best, well, the best of the best are here. So thank you for the effort you put into thinking of the question in the first place. I hope you got the answer you wanted. We will compile all those into it, and we'll try and answer all 60 questions, actually, because we can research these things and do it. So we're going to put a document out that answers all 60 questions that were out and about there. I think that's fair, that everybody should have an answer to a question, even the one of, are there actually aliens up there, and you're just not telling us. Because obviously there are, and we're not telling you. Other people, thank you for all the teachers whose classes I have come into promoting the ISS on a regular basis. My apologies to all the kids that actually hide from me in the corridors to stop me asking if they've got tickets for this International Space Station evening. For those that have come up to me and said, is there something happening tonight that I should know about? Please open your ears, wash your ears out. In the shower, it does wonders actually to use soap to wash your ears out, so you can not miss things like this. So thank you. I have no doubt annoyed many, many people. I do not apologise for that whatsoever, because you're here, and hopefully you've enjoyed it. Please take the opportunity to take photographs in front of the screen or whatever you want. We can set things up however you want it. The evening is done. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your applause for the people as they happened. Hope it was all worthwhile. It has been for me. Thank you and good night. Screen. Much appreciated.
So.